Brussels and you're watching Collector's Needle. Let's get...
Who is David Cote? David Cote, known as David Cote, is a tattoo artist and co-founder of Velour Studio in Montreal, Canada. He also works in illustration, design and music. His tattoos are known for their bold lines, bright colors and surreal style. Each piece feels like a living artwork. In 2025, after 8 years, David returns to Europe for a rare tour with a special stop in Brussels, the home of Collector's Needle. Today, we have a rare chance to sit down with him for an exclusive interview.
It's really cool. It's really cool to see how my art can just move around and kind of have a life of its own. It's not like a graffiti on the wall or a painting on the wall. It just, like, people wear it. People go do things, and the things are going into shops, into getting some pizza, getting like a nice book. You know, it's cool. It's the best thing about making tattoos. It's a living thing. It's not just a so. Like, I remember the first time that, I'm thinking deep because it's been so long. Like, I'm bringing back some memories, but like when I started tattooing, I was a kid. I was 18 or 19, so I didn't know much. I knew about art, I knew about design, I knew about lots of stuff, and I started tattooing for fun, and eventually it started kind of picking up. But it's when I did my first convention in it was in Calgary, my first convention, and then after Calgary, everything just went super fast. I did Calgary, Miami, and then after Miami, I came for the first time in Brussels, not Brussels, in Belgium, in Waregem. And that's where I met a lot of friends, and then I met some friends who were saying, hey, come to my city after. And then I just started hopping around, and then I fell in love with tattooing on the road, and I did that for 4 or 5 years, where I would spend like 6, 7 months, 8 months on the road just constantly. And yeah, that became really fun. Brought some new experiences in like meeting artists, international artists, learning about techniques that is not something in like stuff from America or Canada. And it just opened my world to new possibilities of tattoos in general. So a long time ago, like this was 14 years ago, I started doing traditional tattoos, and I was doing, like, you know, the same thing: roses, skulls, ships, anchors, you know, the typical traditional stuff. I think I got so bored of doing the same thing, so then it was just like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that, and then I was like, how can I spice this up? So then I was like, okay, let me get some spices, and then I started removing some lines. So let's say, like, instead of doing a black outline around the rose, and I would just make one petal that's lined in red, and then I would figure out that if I add black and create kind of like volume to it, it would kind of give it a bit, like, not realism, but it's not traditional and it's not neo-trad. So it just started breathing life into like this weird hybrid style, and still today I don't know what I would call this style. I don't know, like I think that's when I realized that there was something here, but then I just kept on pushing that, and then more colors, and then more instead of doing like the green, red, blue, yellow, I was starting to use like a bit more colors outside of the spectrum, like just the rainbow to it, and then just mixing and learning, exploring colors and mix matching. And I think that's when I was like, okay, I think I like where it's going, and then the rest is just exploring, getting feedback, testing techniques, learning techniques, seeing how it heals, seeing how it ages, and then figuring out. And at some point you start finding a formula that works, and once you find a formula that works, then the rest is just kind of you set yourself rules, and as you set the rules, and the goal is to break these rules to always like create something new with your style, because if you just do the same thing, then people get tired. So if you do the same always like the same, I don't know, you do panthers, you do the same panthers the same way, you add just a little in there and then make it different, it's not enough to bring some new life to it.
Evolution.
Exactly. And evolution comes when you break your own rules. And I think that's the real definition of like stylization in general. Because when you break your rule, then you introduce something new that you wouldn't do. And then when you do something new, then you break, like people won't be able to catch up with how you work because you're constantly breaking the rules of what you're doing. So then how can you catch up with someone that's always never doing the same thing? Because if you're always doing the same thing, you know what to expect. You're just gonna copy. One good example of, I think, stylization is my apprentice that works here in Purple Sun. His name is Ver, and he was my apprentice in 2019. He came the first time to the studio. He had a book of maybe like 300 designs, and then we went through it, and I was like, not much. And he sent an email. He sent an email again. He sent an email, and then he came in person, and then he kept on like pushing. He really wanted to have an apprenticeship. So one time I'm like, okay, well, give him a chance. And then we look at the book, and in the whole book there was maybe one or two designs that we really like. So we said, these two are really cool. He came back a week later with like 100 something designs based off the two that he did. And then I started seeing in this guy that he understands the stylization, because he could take one thing and just repeat that. And then how he built his whole style was the idea that he would take he would draw some sketches, and then he would make people vote. So he's like, what do you guys think of this, like vote A, B, C, D, and then people would vote. And then from that he would learn from that, and then it's the same thing as an algorithm, and then he would perfect his style, and now he has like super unique style and surrealism. But the second he understood to break his rule, he developed a whole world of himself. So I think that's the secret. Unfortunately, I don't have like a better thing to explain, but I think that's the best secret in how to get the style right. Break the rules. Make the rules, break the rules. Make new rules, break them new rules. And then just don't get arrested in the process. Is Anne here? Yeah, exactly.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. I thought you were still in the bathroom. Are you having the bao?
I'm having the Lebanese food.
Oh, okay, for real.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a pizza or tattoo for you?
It's pizza. I was born to make pizza. I'm announcing it now. I quit tattooing for pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'm sure his next project will be a pizza.
Like a pizza spot. And that's what we do in Montreal.
Pizza shop?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? Cool. Do we talk about my tattoo portfolio or like portfolio? Or like portfolio? Like music, tattoos, design? I don't know. I would come up with it. I don't know. Like something about pizza.
I think he's hungry today.
I love pizza, but not for real. I don't know. Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard. I think it would be a multidisciplinary life. Maybe. Yeah, it's just very awkward to put on a poster because the word is like. So then after that, have like a multidisciplinary 4 letters life. So this way it's like this perfect. Yeah.
And you're gonna use colors?
Yeah, no, just black. Maybe like a gradient. So maybe as I do this, like it appears like here, like. In editing, whoever's gonna edit is gonna have fun. People tend to forget that tattooing is as much the artist as it is for the client or the wearer. And conventions will oftentimes just put the spotlight on the artist, like this artist is here, this artist is here, this is here, look at these big names, pew pew pew. But then they will charge like 30 euros or 50 euros for the entrance. People won't have the money to come in and then pay that and then get tattooed on top, and then this and that. And I feel like the clients are as the story as the artists themselves. And I think platforms should also talk more about the clients, because the clients brings the ideas to the artist. The artist flips it and creates something new with it. It's a circle because that's what they're comfortable with. But the second somebody brings them a new idea, they're like, shit, I have to start breaking my rules and start creating something new. And sometimes people like it, so the artists themselves likes it so much that it becomes part of their style. It becomes an essence. And I think, yeah, the collectors, the clients, and everyone plays an important part of the story. And I think it would be false to put every artist on the pedestal and be like, everybody's out up here, while the client, like, we don't talk about the people that actually gets the tattoos. I think it's not a podium, but it's a place where everybody's of the same equivalent value. And I think that's a mandatory thing. Like my friend Archer, Yoda man, I wish he was here. I wish I could text him to you. If you would meet him, you would love this guy. He's collecting tattoos. He's like, a big collector. He has 700 something tattoos. He's on these layers on layers on layers on layers on layers. And he's collecting Yoda tattoos. And to me, that's fascinating. He goes to artists. He's like, make me a Yoda in your style. And then he gets, and now he's reaching, he has 250 Yodas, a bit more than 250. And I think he's about to finalize the project at like 252 or 253. But he has an obsession. And I think this, in my opinion, is cooler than any big artist that has like millions of followers on Instagram. It's just people have a cool stories too. And I think it's cool to see that. I think to stay relevant is just be genuine to yourself. The second you start doing things that are not truly yours, people start to feel it. The second that artists start to do they're hip hop artists and then they turn country artists. Maybe the hip hop was not their comfort zone and they're starting to become more country, or maybe it's the other way around. But I think just do whatever is true to you, and wherever direction it is, people will feel themselves when they see your stuff. And to stay relevant, there was this saying from George Clinton from the Parliament Funkadelic funk band from the 70s. He was always saying that for him, his way of staying relevant was to see what the kids were talking about. The kids if the kids were into this new thing, even if he was old to kind of not like this, if he knew that he was not gonna like it, he knew that he had to pick some of those elements to put in his music. And since he had already his style and his music and everything, and he would grab what the kids were after and kind of flip it and make it something new, then this is where innovation was coming. You could look at it this way, where you constantly chase that and to stay relevant, or you could just stay genuine. I think either way, doesn't matter. Whatever feels good to yourself, and it's gonna show. It's transparent. It's art. It makes people feel. I love big tattoos. I love big sessions, and I think big sessions they speak. They have a whole story. Like a super small tattoo, it's cool. It's itself, but like a giant back piece or something that takes many sessions to create. It involves jokes, it involves communication, involves many things. And the way I create big pieces, I start with the basics. So let's say I'm taking an example of the Geisha tattoo I did on my friend Ben. So he wanted a Geisha back piece. He had some ideas lined up for it, and the whole process was just we slap the Geisha in the middle. And as we put the Geisha here, then we were like, okay, what else do we do? So then we were starting to build a world around, but nothing was planned. It was just like we were discussing. Exactly. And I think that shows that there was like a conversation happening. And so then we were starting to build a whole universe around it. So we put, we're like, where does the room takes place? Where's that room? So we start making research. We go in Japanese traditional household, and then we see like, oh, this is how they do the walls. This is how they do the flooring, and this is that. So then we take that, we slap it as a background, and then we're like, what if we're in Canada, this back piece is set in Japan, but what if we take the plugs of Canada and we slap it on the wall, and then we put a charger, and then we put the phone is charging next to it, and then so that's happened, and then we put that. It's so random, but it was just, we were laughing because of that. Then we put the lamp. Back in the days it was probably fire and stuff, and so we're like, well, we're in 2020. Lamps like that must have plugs, so it would be unrealistic to not plug it into the wall. So then we plug it into the wall. So then it's just so random, but it kept on making sense. So I think the Geisha was really a really cool one, and I think I resonated a lot with it. I can't tattoo small things, like I physically can't. I don't understand how people do it. It's so small, it hurts my eyes to like. I think I've always been an alternative person, so I guess I put myself in the middle, which means like I make decent sized things with a bit of realism but not so much, and I don't do pure traditional, but I like the idea of a sticker. So I think I would put myself right in the middle. So like here there's micro-realism, here there's traditional, and I'm like right there. In my music too, I don't fit in like, I fit in between genres, and I think I've always felt that way. If you want a painting from me, it's not gonna happen. This was one of my last paintings. Like I stopped a year after that. So yeah, tattoos are a luxury item for sure. But I think they're also very spiritual, in my opinion. Depending on what they are. Obviously, if you get like a meme tattooed on you, it's maybe less spiritual. Even then, if you feel like it's resonating with your soul, who am I to judge? But I think tattoos can be a luxury when it comes to exchange of payments. I think it's a luxury, but it's also like an exchange of energy. So I think, for me at least, in my opinion, I think it's money is just the mean in between. It's not really. We live in this world where the landlord wants money and not energy, unfortunately. If it was the case, I would give my landlord some energy. It would be cool to just hang out with him if he was cool, and then that would pay my rent. And I would go to the grocery store and pay my groceries with energy too, so I'd hang out with the people there. We could situate it in a luxury place, but for me, I think it's more like it is what it is. I would like the next generation to keep doing better than what we're doing now. Like, just keep flipping things. I think what's cool about tattoos and art in general is that the younger people will always say, "Fuck all this stuff, I'll fuck those old guys and let me make something cooler." There will always be a punk movement that will flip things, and then the punk will be so cool, and everybody is gonna go towards that, and then the sellout will take punk, will make punk sell out, and then it will just become this new trend, and then this new trend will be like, the new kids will say fuck this shit, and then I will take it, I will flip it, and they flip it again, and then it will become punk again, and then punk will attract new people, and then this is a vicious cycle. And I think that's what I want with my art. I want people to take it, flip it, turn it upside down. Don't copy though. Like, copying is not flipping. Like, copying just brings nothing good. Just like copies of Chanel's, it exists, it's out there, but it's not so cool. Or copies of Rolex, like, you'll find it in the market, but you won't. Cool, you're wearing a fake Rolex, but every day I'm waking up, I get to tattoo, I get to meet cool people, I get to meet David, I get to meet everyone that's part of this, I get to meet Attila, Matteo, right? Andy, Amit, I get to meet, and Anne, my girl Anne. Like, this is my life. I don't want to close this chapter. I love this. It makes me emotional to be able to live this life, and yeah, I want to keep doing this until I die. hopefully, if I'm lucky enough. And yeah, this is everything to me. I don't know what I'll be doing. Maybe I'd be a firefighter if I was not a tattoo artist. Yeah, I think fighting fire is pretty cool. Seems pretty like. So yeah, thanks for all these. That's the last questions, right?
This was the last question. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
For your time and your story. It was great to meet you here in Brussels at Purple Sun. We wish you all the best.
The best project in the game right now. So like,
I'm try to have it.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this.
Thank you for this hot interview.
Hot?
Yeah.
What was hot? Oh yeah, I thought it was me. I thought it was my beauty that was making it hot.
Sponsored by Richard Belgium.